the major term life companies, and rates have dropped dramatically in the past few years. For example, for a man age 45 non-tobacco user, it's $1 million of coverage at $75 per month, level rate for the next 10 years. Or a man age 50 non-tobacco user can obtain $500,000 of coverage for a monthly premium of only $110 per month, guaranteed not to change for the next 20 years. That's right, level rate guaranteed not to change for the next 20 years. If you're a smoker, we have great rates available for you as well. At Term Busters, we specialize in policies of $500,000 and above. If you're looking for a new or replacement term life insurance, call today for a quote at 1-866-929-1950. That's 1-866-929-1950. You're probably paying more than you should. Call Term Busters at 1-866-929-1950. That's 1-866-929-1950. Remember, 1-866-929-1950. Rates and availability may vary by state. Sample rate quotes for preferred non-tobacco underwriting. Exam required to qualify.
Our Pensacola Wahoos are back for another season, and with the new season comes some fresh and new changes. Our Wahoos are now the new AA affiliate of the Minnesota Twins, and they have a new broadcast home here in Pensacola, right here at your hometown station for hometown sports, ESPN Pensacola 945. Catch all the Wahoos action from home and away with Chris Garagiola. Wahoos baseball presented by Denny's on the new official flagship station for the Blue Wahoos, ESPN Pensacola 945 and ESPNpensacola.com.
Well, I finally did it. I opened a 401k.
What? Why? Just wait for the inheritance. We've definitely got a rich uncle somewhere. We're one call away from the winner's circle at the Derby, dinners with multiple forks, a vacation home in the country, using summer as a verb.
You don't actually think that, do you?
When it comes to financial stability, don't get left behind. Get tools and tips for saving at feedthepig.org. This message brought to you by the American Institute of CPAs, the Florida Society of CPAs, and the Ad Council.
When working at a growing business, you wear many hats. The new business hat, the buying toner for the copy machine hat, the sifting through tons of resumes hat. You can throw away that last hat thanks to Indeed.com. When posting your job, Indeed lets you add screener questions that give you a less time-consuming route to your short list of qualified candidates. So go ahead, dust off that extra long lunch hat. Hiring's better when you've got your short list. Save time on hiring when you post a job on Indeed. Get started today at Indeed.com/hire.
Pensacola Beach isn't just a sun-soaked white sand paradise. It's also the best dance floor in 50 states. Every Tuesday night, the stage near the beach ball comes alive with great music you know and love. Bands on the Beach are free shows every Tuesday through October, and they're brought to you by the Santa Rosa Island Authority. Tomorrow, it's Elvis Remembered. Shane Tucker puts on an amazing Elvis show worthy of the king himself. He brings the energy of the true king of rock and roll. Join us for live music every Tuesday night at 7 for Bands on the Beach.
Back, you know, the stuff there that Tom Luganbill and Kirby Smart were talking about, I mean, it has really been the biggest change I have seen really since the press offense, the press defense, when they used to man up and try to outdo you. The RPO has changed the game more than anything I can remember, because really you have the run pass option, and to sit there and watch them draw it up and all the mind games that are going on. Absolutely fascinating. It is, and he's right. You now can give up 400 yards and 35 points and still win the game in the SEC. I remember when I first started covering this league a long time ago, if you averaged 24, 28 points a game, you had a pretty good chance to win the conference. Steve Spurrier comes in 1990. Now all of a sudden you got to score 35, 38 points a game. And now with the RPO where they spread you out, and it's, as one coach told me, it's really about math. It's about having one more person in the box than they can defend, or having one more person in the lineup that they can cover. It's It's fascinating stuff. Tony Barnhart sitting in for Paul Feinbaum. We're here until 7 o'clock to take your calls at 855-242-7285. We got a little bit of time here before we take our break. Let's go to Joe in Florida. Joe, it's Tony Barnhart. How are you?
I'm doing all right. How you doing today?
I'm doing very well. Thank you.
All right. I appreciate you taking my call today. The question I have for today, Tony, is what's the realistic chances that the Gators can make a run in the SEC East and probably even a chance to get in the college playoffs if Philippe Franks plays good this year?
Well, let's start with the SEC East. All right. There's no question that Georgia, from a talent standpoint, is the second-best team in that division. I think the fact that they won 10 games last year, Philippe Franks came further in 1 year that I thought was anywhere near possible. I don't think they are quite there with Georgia yet. I think they're recruiting. They signed what? They signed a top 10 recruiting class, 8, 9, 10, whatever it is. It doesn't matter. It was a good recruiting class. I don't think this is the year yet for the Gators, but because they've still got to play LSU, they've still got to play Georgia. So I don't think they're there yet, but I think they're going to get there. Sit there and look at the schedule right now. At Kentucky, that's going to be an interesting game. I think Kentucky, after what they did last year, they're going to have a point to prove. The fact that they've got to play Auburn October 5th, that's a game I personally am glad to see back. But look, after Auburn, at LSU, at South Carolina, week off, play Georgia in Jacksonville. I see this as a Florida team that could still win 9 or 10 games, but it's going to be close. But I don't think you're there yet. You don't have the overall depth of talent that you're going to need. But the fact is, Florida's headed in the right direction.
Okay. So how many years you think before we challenge for that spot?
I think you're looking at by year 3 next year. I think you can challenge for the spot. Doesn't mean you're going to win because Georgia's recruiting well. The question is, are you in the hunt when you go to Jacksonville? That's the key. If you're not in the, if you're not playing for all the marbles in Jacksonville, if you're not still in the hunt in Jacksonville, it's really not going to matter. So Florida's got to take care of business. They got to recruit at a very high level, which they can and which they will, and they've got to continue to get good quarterback play. But it's all, to me, it's all about personnel. I think next year Florida will challenge, but I don't think this is the year for the Gators.
All right, I appreciate your time, Tony, and hopefully we can have this conversation again later on this year.
That'll be great. Please call back. I appreciate it.
All right, thanks, Tony. Appreciate it.
All right, let's go to Ricky in Tennessee. Ricky? Tony Barnhart here. How are you?
I'm a big follower of yours.
Well, thank you.
I'd like to say go Vols, number one. Number two, I have a quick question. I know you're wanting to go to break. On this portal thing, why could they not have 1 or 2 people from each conference? And whenever somebody came up from whichever conference, those people would be, they couldn't vote on the outcome of everything. Would that not be a fair way to do things?
You mean have people from each school vote on whether or not a guy can transfer?
No, have say 1 or 2 people from each conference. And if somebody from the SEC wanted to transfer to the ACC, those would be exempt from voting on the outcome of it.
Yeah, I don't know, Ricky. I understand where you're coming from, but the reality of the situation and the reality we are all going to have to face is that we are not going to do anything moving forward that restricts the freedom that the players have gotten, okay? And the coaches will tell you that. They're not going to, they're not going to say it out loud in front of everybody, but the fact is they know the portal's here to stay. They know it's not going anywhere. What the people who manage the game have got to do is to keep the players with this kind of freedom, maybe create a rule where everybody gets 1 free transfer and they don't have to sit out, and then that's it. But you're not going to do anything that's going to really restrict the players' freedom at this point. They've gone too far down the road.
I understand what you're saying. Thank you so much for taking my call, and go Vols. All
right, Ricky, I appreciate that. We probably can take one more before break. Let's go to Harry in New Orleans. Harry, I've got about 2 minutes, okay?
Thank you, Tony. Always great to see you on.
Thank you.
Tony, just a couple of quick comments, and I'd like to get your opinion on this. I'm also someone that was blessed to watch Coach Curry when he played for the Packers most of his games. And I find it incredible later on in life when he became a head coach and even through today. He's so eloquent and soft-spoken. Isn't it incredible how a guy could be so tenacious and vicious on a football field and be such an eloquent leader of men after that?
Yes, and that's what makes him special. And trust me, when it came to disciplining his players and doing what needed to be done as a coach, he was no soft touch. You can talk to his players and said you did not want to make Coach Curry mad. But he also
I'm sure he had a side that when he had to turn it on, it was there. I just find he's such an eloquent, soft-spoken gentleman, and he's to be commended, and I'm sure he'll go on in history to be one of the greats. But the last thing I had, Tony, I hate to be critical, but I just can't seem to buy into this Florida quarterback. What am I seeing that nobody else seems to see?
Well, Harry, it's all relative. And thank you for calling. I've got to scoot here and take a break.
Tony.
Thank you. I appreciate it. The thing about Felipe Franks is that we all knew he had a great arm. We all knew he had potential. He's very athletic. The question is, could somebody come in and teach him the nuances of the position? And frankly, Dan Mullen is one of the best quarterback coaches out there. You've seen what he did. You saw what he did with Dak Prescott. You've seen him develop guys for the NFL. And he just, I thought he did a remarkable job with Felipe Franks. So there you go. Hey, we're going to take a break. When we come back, we're here to take your calls at 855-242-7285. This is Tony sitting in for Paul.
When it comes to the playoffs, coverage is everything. The same applies to the wireless game. With Straight Talk Wireless, you get full nationwide coverage on America's largest and most dependable 4G LTE networks, but for up to 50% less than those big carriers charge, for the exact same high-speed networks. It's like getting full-court coverage at half-court prices. Switch to Straight Talk Wireless and get the unlimited plan with 25 gigs of high-speed data for just $45 a month, only at Walmart. Savings may vary. See terms and conditions at straighttalk.com.
At Indeed, we understand that when it comes to hiring, it's important to have a large talent pool to choose from. But sometimes too many good options can be overwhelming. That's why Indeed doesn't just give you access to a large pool of job seekers. We also offer screener tools that let you instantly narrow down your search. Hone in on hiring with Indeed. Experience Indeed for yourself today and get a free sponsored job upgrade on your first posting at Indeed.com/promo. Terms and conditions apply.
Hey, it's Flint Lockwood here from Swallow Falls. My friends and I have just discovered these amazing living foodimals. But wait, we've also discovered a crisis that needs our help. According to my calculations, 1 in 5 kids in America struggles with hunger. That's almost 17 million kids. Our mission is to help solve hunger by teaming up with the Feeding America Network to get food to kids facing hunger in communities across the country.
Feeding America is a nationwide network of food banks, helping connect children and families who face hunger to billions of pounds of food, reaching shelters, schools, and community centers in every county in America, including yours. Help Flint and the Feeding America network of food banks get food to the people who need it in your community. Find your local Feeding America food bank at feedingamerica.org/hunger.
Together, we're Feeding America.
A message from Feeding America and the Ad Council.
Now that Human Resources Director Fernando Pino has Kronos for HR, payroll, talent, and time, he's completely crushing it. He even has his own hype song.
Supporting our entire workforce. Everyone has different hours, skill sets, and pay grades. Motivating and engaging our people every step of the way.
Kronos, HR solutions for the modern workforce and the people who support them. Learn more at kronos.com/HR swagger.
I'm on the top, I'm gonna rise up. I'm on the top, I'm gonna rise up. I'm on the top.
Business owners of Escambia and Santa Rosa counties, listen to this important message.
This is Jeffrey, the marketing consultant for ESPN, News Radio 92.3, and Talk Radio WEBY. I've helped hundreds and hundreds of people just like you increase their business traffic and drive revenue into their doors. My service works. I design creative, attention-getting commercials that get results. It works for them and will work for you. I know what you're thinking. No one listens to commercials, right? Well, you just did. Call me, Jeffrey, 262-6000.
ESPN Pensacola has you covered from the national and local levels. From Golic and Wingo to the Sports Drive, the Paul Feinbaum Show to Talk Football with Coach K, we have it all. It's the latest and best in sports talk radio, making us Pensacola's hometown sports network. ESPN Pensacola 94.5, also on HD Radio at HD2 98.7 WYCT, and streaming online at our website at ESPNpensacola.com.
He was a star quarterback at Pensacola High, played alongside Gator great Steve Spurrier, and rose up the ranks to become head coach of the Buffalo Bills. Now, he's talking football on ESPN Pensacola 94.5. Coach K brings football to life year-round. The teams, the players, and the front office. Talk football with Coach K every day at noon on your radio. And Coach K live on Facebook and YouTube at ESPN Pensacola 94.5.
This is Pensacola's hometown all-sports station and home of the Blue Wahoos, ESPN Pensacola 94.5. Catch all the Wahoos games home and away all season, plus all the latest Wahoos news from Chad Brilliante on the Sports Drive, 5 till game time weeknights. And hey, if your business would like to partner with us as an advertiser or with a local sports promotion, then give us a call at 850-262-6000 or shoot us an email from the advertise page on ESPNpensacola.com.
ESPN Pensacola 94.5. I'm Jordan Glass with your Pensacola Sports Update. For UWF, Argos Baseball will be hosting William Carey later on today at Jim Spooner Field. Also on today, women's basketball will be hosting West Georgia in the opening round of the Gulf South Conference tournament play. For Argo football, they'll actually be getting spring practice started in just a couple of weeks on March 19th. I'm Jordan Glass with your sports update on ESPN Pensacola 94.5. Taking a look at the scoreboard from around Major League Baseball on Sunday, the Rays beat the Red Sox 6-1. The Reds beat the Phillies 4-3. The Diamondbacks beat the Blue Jays 8-2. The Mets take care of the Rockies 6-1. The Yankees beat the Indians 7-6. The Braves beat the Marlins 7-6. And, of course, the Astros take care of the Orioles by a final score of 4-0. For the NHL Stanley Cup Finals, Boston puts together an impressive Game 6 performance, winning 5-1 to force a deciding Game 7 for the Stanley Cup. As we head to the NBA Finals, we'll have Game 5 coming up from Toronto later on tonight at 8 o'clock. You can catch that game on ABC. For your Pensacola Blue Wahoos, they were on the road taking on Biloxi on Sunday, and unfortunately they fall by a final score of 8-0 in this one. Coming up next for the Wahoos, it's another game against Biloxi coming up later on tonight at 6:35. Chris Gargiola will have the call. I'm Jordan Glass with your sports update on ESPN Pensacola 94.5.
Run! Go! Get to the chopper!
Looking Gannon, throws up the middle, and to the shoulder, at the 40, Derek Brooks 30, Brooks to the 25, he's good, Derek Brooks all the way, touchdown Tampa Bay, Derek Brooks, the dagger's in, we're gonna win the Super Bowl.
Bubba Watson is wearing a green jacket, and this time his name is Bubba.
Pitch on the way, Russell drives one in the air, deep left center, that's back near the wall, it's got a chance, grand slam, Addison Russell.
The new WBA heavyweight champion of the world, Roy Jones Jr.
And Richardson breaks free on the sideline, end zone, power bomb down. Bama scores on a 34-yard touchdown run by the Doak Walker Award winner, Trick Richardson, who broke a lot of Emmett Smith's records back in Pensacola, Florida.
And these them Louisiana, Pensacola guys, they looking crazy and all that.
Morris, blocked by the tight end call. That opens up the door. Breaking the Cambridge tackle. To the pylon. Touchdown.
Really nice effort there by Alfred Morris, extending that ball over the goal line.
Near side ball is that big game. Doug Baldwin's got a first down. Doug Baldwin, 93 yards, now has back-to-back 1,000-yard seasons. Reggie Evans, and he's going to get an ovation. Guy from Pensacola, Florida.
And welcome into the Sports Drive right here on ESPN Pensacola 94.5 and on Blab TV. I am Chad Brilliante. Glad to be with you as we broadcast, having some fun with you on this Monday. A lot to get to on today's show. Busy time right now. It's not football. 75 days until that first game snuck up on us on August 24th between the Florida Gators and Miami Hurricanes. Two teams that truly do hate each other. I've been at games, as I've said before in the show, and somebody waiting in that long line on Archer would have probably remembered a guy got hit by a truck, not on accident, but on purpose in the median because a guy was waving a Canes flag. Sometimes that happens, and vice versa. For the Gators fans, like, whoa, come on now. Like, why are you picking on us? They probably would have done the same. So in that battle, it's going to be one of these days as he drinks out of what is a super gulp right here. That's got to be, what are we working with 108 ounces right there?
I think that's a mega super gulp is
I
what
think
that
so
is.
right
Yeah,
there.
Yeah.
I'm sure that's
it's a nice cool armrest too.
Soda or water too, right?
Water.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's what we're going with today?
Yeah.
Okay. Water.
Water,
folks. Jordan, how was your weekend?
It was good. And, just worked for Cat Country over the weekend, did a couple of on-air shifts for them, and just kind of hung out, and it was a nice little weekend, yeah.
I heard the if the cat button breaks, you have to, which it never does, so your eyes always, but have you ever had to do the, no?
I have not, no. Well, we keep somebody in a closet out back to do that for us, yeah.
It's a true cat. It's a lot on the expense report, but there's a live panther always ready. You just
grab it, pull the tail, and it does it for us.
Yank them like the, what's the guy with the horse, the pony in old school right there? You come over here, but like right there, like just do it again on this side. But let's get to a lot of things going on this weekend, and we're going to get to cash it or smash it with the stories we cash and then the ones we smash, like that idiot that shot Big Poppy. But we got a lot to get to on today's show, and let's start things off. What an incredible week Mike Martin had getting it done. And this is a guy that at one point was really one of the final teams in the College Baseball World Series. But it gets to a point, if your team's not the one playing them, and I just so happen to be married to an LSU gal, house is draped in purple and gold. Not outside. That looked funky like Willy Wonka, who did pass this week, by the way, in Gene Wilder. But it would be one of those kind of things where if you're not a fan of the team playing Florida State, you'd probably be rooting for Mike Martin to get it done finally, to have that opportunity. Most of the time, the Florida fans don't have too bad a blood with the baseball team as much as football. You know what I'm saying?
No, I know exactly what you're saying, and I agree with that. I think if you look at this situation, I myself am cheering for Mike Martin. I mean, what a great way to close out a career, a 40-year career, and to win a national title. It would be his first one, I believe, with Florida State. So
it would be.
Yeah,
and after 42 years of 40-plus win seasons, Florida State has advanced, winning in the box, too. One place where it doesn't matter rain or shine. Chance of rain never if you get out to Baton Rouge. But one of those places historic when it comes to baseball. And I know a lot of Florida State fans and a lot of LSU fans made that trip to Baton Rouge this week. But even though LSU has been knocked out and eliminated, that doesn't mean that there's not plenty of teams out there out of the SEC. Right now, somebody's got to go. We guarantee one's coming out of this game. Arkansas's got an 8-1 lead over Ole Miss. And just realized we changed it over. The TV we were watching the game is now on my show. Well, there we go. But at the same time, Florida State is one team out of the ACC, but Michigan out of the Big Ten. Auburn with a dominant win today, 14-7 over UNC. Mississippi State, Texas Tech, as well as you have Vanderbilt moving on. And then it looks like Arkansas is going to advance over Ole Miss more than likely. Ole Miss has pulled the upsets before, but this one would be huge. So 4 out of the 8 teams will be out of the SEC in this one. Let's get to some of the big stories coming up on the program. We're going to talk with my brother Brett Brilliante in golf. And when it comes down to golf, sometimes, there's the fun side of golf. You got to add that. You got a little. Today's a little, Payne Stewart, the knickers, look, kind of feel. Where Happy Gilmore is like, if I saw myself in that, I'd have to kick my own. That kind of stuff. It's changed a lot. Not the etiquette. You can't can't wave balloons out there. And clearly, if you're from Boston, there would be, you can't ask Shooter to meet you at Red Lobster, the 19th hole at 9. None of this. But at the same time, when it comes down to golf, the energy, the excitement. Bubba Watson, our very own 2-time Masters champion. He's got a green jacket that didn't get from the thrift store like some of us. We go to a fun St. Patrick's Day festival. And he was one of these kind of guys that when he talked with Phil Mickelson, Phil started to get into the flow. He made the comments when he was having fun at Jordan Spieth's wedding when they asked for his money back. He just sort of came right back to Owens and just told him what was up. But he's the kind of guy that is starting to add a little bit more liveliness and being fun. When Phil was not known for fun, he was known for smiling and a little hefty and that kind of stuff. But now, and awesome lob shots, but now he is going to a whole new direction. And this is what he had to say about Bubba Watson getting ready for the U.S. Open.
First time in a long time that I've used 2 drivers. As if one Epic Flash driver isn't enough, I'm going to use 2. Well, why such a change of heart? Why am I doing this? Well, I saw a post of Bubba Watson hitting bombs without a shirt on. And he had bare chest hair. And I don't mean B-A-R-E chest hair. I mean grizzly bear, B-E-A-R chest hair. And thought, if I have to have that to hit bombs, I don't want to hit bombs. So I have a shorter driver where I can hit cute little cuts into the fairway. But then I realized that when I was not hitting bombs, my confidence was low, my self-esteem was low. Oftentimes I wouldn't want to get out of bed. And so when I started hitting bombs, my confidence shot back up, my testosterone came back, my overall attractiveness increased. And so I'm going to have a driver to hit cute cuts in the fairway and to hit bomb.
There you go. There's Phil. He's getting ready. Cute cuts and then bombs as he's going to be at Pebble Beach having some fun. And there's nothing like it. I mean, that's one of those that I wouldn't mind shanking one into the water, looking at the seals over there in the rocks, because the picturesque views. No offense to some of it, but, the Cypress Lakes where there's like you're driving by and there's a chain link fence on the side. That's not what you get on Pebble Beach. I'm just saying. Just want to throw that out there.
No, that's true. It's those gorgeous little mountain cliffs that drop right off into a nice little beach. That's what you get there, and it's nice.
Or the weeds growing in the moors because somebody needs to do something about that. By the way, come on, somebody build a golf course or something out there. Nobody wants to drive by. Jackson, you live in Milton, and nobody needs to see that every day. I mean, come on, folks. Let's build something out there.
Basically, what he's saying is get out there with a mower and take care of it.
Go do something there and take care of it. Let's get to our quick hitters here before we join my brother Brett Brillante on the show, as he will join us from the Golf Channel, breaking things down, annoying selfies out at St. Andrews, the things he does. And then at 5:30, we're going to talk some college football. A tough week when it comes to former Florida Gators. Tony Joyner joins the former Aaron Hernandez as 2007 part of the national championship team. That's a murder. That's not a list you want to be on, and pretty sad. A sad story, and one that I just don't understand. But at the same time, I guess we can't. Most people can't fathom what murderers do because that's what makes us normal human beings. Let's get to some of the other quick hitters from the day. We're going to go through the top 5 that we cash and the top 5 that we smash from the weekend that was. Let's start off with Cash It. Well, Raptors, Jurassic Park, it seems like the whole entire continent of Canada is about to celebrate a chance at their first NBA Finals. Now, they're like, this is the first one. Now, look, since Vancouver Grizzlies and those crazy uniforms have left, this is the only shot. They're Toronto Raptors. However, they still care way more if the Montreal Canadiens or back in the day, the Quebec Nordiques, or dating back to if the Maple Leafs or Canucks, if they got it done in hockey. But they'll take it. And right now, they have a good shot. We've talked about this. We pretty much have been dead on to this game, meaning that Toronto is a better team. You're watching that game, and everybody, I think, if you watch the NBA Finals, you're sitting there going, okay, they're at home. We've seen this rodeo before. Steph, and you're going to see a couple guys go out there, and they're going to start making some shots. Steph and Klay Thompson are going to start hitting it, and they're going to come right back, even when they were down by 12 or 13. But you realize that their supporting cast is absolutely geriatrics or crusts. And I don't mean to be rude, but NBA crusts. They'd still ball you out if they were at the Y down here. Then you look at a team like Toronto, and they've got Kyle Lowry. Even Fred VanVleet is giving it to them. You got guys like Serge Ibaka, who comes in and puts up 20 real quick. Marc Gasol's. Everywhere you look, The supporting cast for Kawhi Leonard is much, much better. Guys like Danny Green, who's been a champion in San Antonio. This supporting cast are guys that are clutch, and they've been there, done that. Where on the other side, you've got a team that pretty much is like, man, if Klay Thompson and Steph Curry don't make these long threes, we got no shot. Boogie Cousins looks like, he's on one of those hover round commercials right now with the grandma. And it's because of the injuries. Boogie, I know we've got fans out there in Mobile. He comes down and plays the charity softball tournament. I love you, man. You're dropping 25 and 15. However, he is not the same guy right now. He cannot get up and down. He's given him as much as he can, but he is not the guy that's an all-star. So don't put his name into that mix with the rest of them. The good news for Golden State is they get the best scorer in the NBA back tonight, but we don't know if he's going to be healthy. If he's regular Kevin Durant, I think it wouldn't be bad if you're out in Vegas right now to get great odds on Golden State to win the next 3. Because when Kevin Durant's on the court and you have Kevin, Steph, and Klay shooting the ball, and they're going to play almost every minute tonight if Kevin Durant can go, that would be insane because those 3 that makes it almost unstoppable to guard.
Yeah, I'm not buying into the Kevin Durant hype, though. Look, he's going to help this team. He's going to make it better. But there are things that are happening with this Golden State team. Their head is not in this series, and at times it looks like their heart's not in this series. And they're allowing too many wide open shots on defense, and they did that in Oracle Arena. If they allow that to happen tonight in Toronto, they're going home without another game to play. It doesn't matter if Kevin Durant's on the court or not. They have to play better mental basketball. And, they're going to get a pickup scoring if Kevin Durant can't play, even if he is limited because of an injury. But they need to play better mentally and be more into this game because the last 2 games they have not been in it, and they've gotten embarrassed both games, and it shows on the court. Their head is not in this series like Toronto's is. And Toronto is not only the healthier team, but they're playing fundamentally sound basketball. Golden State not doing that, and that's why Toronto's up 3-1.
Sports Drive 5's 5 biggest moments from the weekend. The smash it part, Madison Bumgarner right there. If he wasn't a baseball player, you'd think that somebody from a foreign country, you're cursing at him. But Bumgarner goes out there and he gets crushed. I mean, Max Muncy puts a charge in the ball, almost hits some guy out there. The guy's been waiting out there in McCovey Cove and almost got crushed by that ball. So that would have been like an insult to injury. Was that ball at least hit by a Giant fan, bro? Like, nope. Right off Bumgarner right there. Your man, the guy that won the World Series for you.
Yeah.
And he got shown up a little. Muncy looked at the ball for a little while. He crushed it into the water, and he watches it fly. And Madison didn't like it, and he gave him some words. You know what? I side with Muncy on this one. If you bomb a guy into the water, you don't have to. He didn't do anything. He didn't bat flip Joey Bat style. He didn't get the fake crowd that wasn't cheering for him anyway into it. What he did was he just pretty much went out there and celebrated a home run by staring it down for a little while. If you hit a ball 450 feet, 450 feet, you should get to look at it for a few minutes. The pitchers need to get over what that is when it comes down to it. Jordan, that's my take on it.
No, you're absolutely right on that. And we kind of talked about the whole bat flip situation because we're seeing that become a big trend inside Major League Baseball now. It's even spilled into the College World Series with the bat flip. He didn't bat flip here. He just watched his home run and probably was just trying to see where it came down at.
Yeah.
And, there's nothing wrong with it. There's some pitchers out there that are just a little oversensitive.
And I didn't mind when I was in high school and I hit my first home run. And I broke out the Roman candle. And I just shot it in the middle of it. And now that could have... I got it. I mean, I understood 2 parts of that. I understood the pitcher was mad, and I understood the cop that arrested me for burning down part of the field. When we come back, we're going to talk a little more quick hitters, cash it or smash it. We're also going to talk with my brother Brett Brilliante coming up here. We're going to get to more with Brent Baird of Lindy Sports, talking some college football. It's all coming back right here on this Monday edition of the Sports Drive.
Hello, sports fans. Miles Bentley here, General Manager at Hill Kelly Dodge Chrysler Jeep Ram in Pensacola. Growing up, I always loved sports. Nothing but net, out of the park, through the uprights. Sink the puck Bentley, that was me. But my love of the game couldn't beat my love for Pensacola and helping folks get on the road of dreams in a new Dodge Chrysler Jeep Ram. Sure, I never went to the big leagues in sport, but we're all pro here at Hill Kelly Dodge Chrysler Jeep Ram. Proud to be in Pensacola.
Don't attempt stunt per trade in this commercial. We're here at JB Weld's Product Testing Laboratory. Today, we're comparing JB Weld epoxy adhesive versus ordinary glue. I'm standing under this enormous steel block suspended above my head using JB Weld epoxy adhesive. I'm completely safe. My assistant will be standing under an identical steel block, soon to be suspended over his head using ordinary glue.
What? No way I'm doing that.
Wow, that was close. When strength really matters, don't glue it. JB Weld it. For metal, wood, plastic, and more. JB Weld, world's strongest bond. Available at Home Depot, Lowe's, Walmart, AutoZone, Advanced Auto Parts, and more.
Our Pensacola Wahoos are back for another season, and with the new season comes some fresh and new changes. Our Wahoos are now the new AA affiliate of the Minnesota Twins, and they have a new broadcast home here in Pensacola, right here at your hometown station for hometown sports, ESPN Pensacola 945. Catch all the Wahoos action from home and away with Chris Garagiola. Wahoos baseball presented by Denny's on the new official flagship station for the Blue Wahoos, ESPN Pensacola 945 and ESPNpensacola.com.
Sports Call with Jordan Glass.
A guy like Kyler Murray, great athlete, yes. We talked about it before, great athlete, got a lot of talent. Because of his size, I just see that being something that hurts him inside the NFL.
Then Davis Allen.
It's so much harder to be successful in the NFL, but is it beneficial for you in the long run?
Every Saturday morning on ESPN Pensacola 94.5.
Devotion doesn't settle. It doesn't stop at good enough. Devotion goes the extra mile. That's why when you shop the incredible selection of Pandora jewelry at Jared from December 6th through 10th, we'll include a free limited edition sterling silver bangle with any Pandora purchase of $125 or more. Because devotion deserves a little something extra. Just shop our Pandora collections online or find a store near you at jared.com and dare to be devoted.
ESPN Pensacola 94.5 is locally owned by the ADX Communications Group. That includes News Radio 92.3 and AM 1620, Cat Country 98.7 and 1330 WEBY 99.1 FM. This means that we have the staff, the experience, and the generators to get you through the storm before, during, and after. We care, and we're ready because we're local. ESPN Pensacola 94.5.
And welcome back. Sports Drive with you right here. ESPN Pensacola 94.5 and on Blab TV. Blue Wahoos continue to struggle. Hopefully they get back on track. They'll be on at 6:35 tonight with the Biloxi Shuckers out there in Biloxi having some fun. And it's been a rough road over the last couple weeks, but still one of the best records in the Southern League. And, you know, it's in baseball, it's hard to always keep that consistency when you're going into an all-star week coming up here. And you know that you have to sustain those guys that might be getting moved up. It's a little different in minor league baseball than the consistency at the next level, and baseball is one of those sports. Joining us now to talk a little golf as the U.S. Open out there on Pebble Beach, one of the coolest places to get to sit there, just watch the beautiful waves crash as you duck hook one into that water, or at least that would be for me. I've never been out there. But Bill Murray and all the guys that get to play at Tony Romo during the Pro-Ams now get to host the U.S. Open. And somebody that I'm sure will be taking some selfies because he has been out there multiple times. My brother, Brett Brillante from the Golf Channel joins us. Brett, what's happening, my friend?
Hey, how's it going, Chad? Yeah, I'm a little bit disappointed I don't get to be out there at Pebble this year. I was out there in 2010 for the U.S. Open, and it just really is a special venue. You know, Jack in 72, Watson in 82, Tiger 2000, the biggest blowout in the history of a major championship. It's just been host to so many memorable U.S. Opens, and it's such an unbelievable venue. You stand there right there on that 7th tee, and there might not be a more beautiful spot in the entire world if you're a golfer, and that's right where Golf Channel set is this week, so it's going to be a special one.
I know you put that up there in your life when you look at being at Pebble Beach. Last week, a couple weeks ago, you were in St. Andrews, and also living in the home of the fake national champion. So, I mean, there's three big things that, you know, as always. as part of it right there.
Oh, yeah, Orlando, Florida, the Bounce House, St. Andrews, and Pebble Beach, the three greatest.
Those are all in the same vicinity right there. Looking at some of the things going on, first off, by the way, I've got our plane ticket, and I have the address of the guy who's already getting his, beat up around the block in Dominican Republic, as he should, for the guy that shot Big Papi. When I heard that at first, look, the headline from the guy's mouth, you're used to getting those clickbaits. You'll never know what star, when she was just a little girl, now is a supermodel and doesn't wear clothes. And you're like, I'm not going to click this story. But but when it comes down to Big Papi, he was one of these kind of guys that somebody walked up to me yesterday like, hey, did you hear Big Papi got shot? And I'm like just stared him down with my jaw dropping. He got shot in the leg. And hopefully it doesn't look like this is the 40, so he's not going to have to amputate it. But at the same time, it scared the bejesus. He's my favorite player of all time. And as a Red Sox fan, I know, Brett, he's one of everybody's favorite player if you're from there or your family's from there. Just talk about when you first heard that yesterday.
Oh, look, and there's some athletes that transcend a specific team, a specific region. I've seen a lot of people clarifying, well, I'm not a Red Sox fan, but Big Papi's one of my thoughts. Okay, guess what? It doesn't matter if you're a Yankees fan, if you're a Cubs fan. It doesn't matter what fan you are. David Ortiz transcends the game of baseball. What he did for the city of Boston after the Boston Marathon bombing, what he's done for sports as a whole, what he's done for the Dominican Republic. He is more than just a great athlete. He is a great human being. Mm-hmm. Obviously, the steroid rumors are going to taint his legacy a little bit, but Big Papi is just beloved in the game of baseball. And, it seems like the reports were a little bit skewed there early, late last night. It looks like he was actually shot in the abdomen, had to have part of his gallbladder removed. There's some really... It doesn't sound great. Thank God he is in stable condition. I've only been able to watch the video of him getting shot. I dare near want to say the word assassinated attempt because, the guy came up at point-blank range. What I have watched many, many, many times is the video of the guy who shot him getting absolutely stomped by all the Dominican Republic natives. I've watched that video
I've watched and smiled at that many times this morning, yes.
And all I can tell you is they did not go far enough because what they did to Big Papi is just shameful.
Well, I'm not going to lie. Yesterday, last week, Memorial Day, everything, and I mean it 100%, and I'm sure you feel as a great American as well. Somebody that I don't know what you've done over the last few years if you're doing any like spying in Russia, but I believe that we're all on the same page here. But, as an American, we do live in the best country. I don't care if, Jurassic Park is rooting all over for places that are living in Eskimos right now in igloos cheering on a team that they didn't even know existed 4 weeks ago. But at the same time, when you talk about what happened from a standpoint of the Dominican Republic in that shooting, I'm glad it happened over there. And what I mean by that is our laws are too gentle on people that are murderers in this country, and the ones that do it premeditated. Things are going to happen in life, and it stinks. But premeditated murderers and rapists and people like that, Dominican Republic's going to take care of them. Like they're going to throw them in a back alley and beat the crap out of this guy with bats. So you know what? Good, because I'm glad he's in the Dominican Republic and not over here where we get a hot meal this morning and wake up with air conditioning.
Yeah, there was a guy here in Orlando last year that killed 2 cops. And when the cops eventually found him after a long week-plus manhunt, the aerial footage of them pulling him out from under the house and how they treated him when they found him was not great. But you know what? I don't think there was a single person that didn't look the other way. There are some people when it comes to police, military, people who just are great humanitarians, have done just great things for other people. Yeah, you know what? I'm willing to look the other way if you get stomped by some locals.
It's like when Scar didn't feed the hyenas in Lion King. And they came back to eat them. But let's get to some of the other things. And the kids are like, that's what happened to them. I thought they... But let's get to some of the...
About that U.S. Open.
Yeah, how about the U.S. Open? So this week, look, Brooks Koepka, all he does is win majors. If the guy knew... If he had any type of emotion, it'd be cool for him to come out with a rap. But it would be, to me, like one of those... Remember the old... what were they called? The robots that you would put in the calls? Like, hello there. Nice to meet you today. Like, Brooks Koepka doesn't need to be rapping on anything. But at the same time, once again, is he the favorite? At this point, do we just fill him in like we have Golden State before the injuries this year as the guy to beat every single major?
How do you not? The guy's won the last 2 U.S. Opens. He's won the last 2 PGA Championships. Only one person in the history of the game of golf has won back-to-back PGAs and back-to-back U.S. Opens in their career. And guess what? Brooks Koepka did both of those simultaneously. So he is just as hot as it gets when it comes to the major championships right now. But this is setting up to be just an unbelievable week where it's going to be really, really hard to not have a great storyline. You've got Tiger Woods, as I mentioned, returning to Pebble Beach, site of his 15-stroke victory in 2000, going for major championship number 16. You've got Phil Mickelson, who has an unbelievable track record at Pebble Beach, going for his first U.S. Open, which would complete the career Grand Slam on Father's Day at age 49. You've got Dustin Johnson, a former world number one, a guy who was going for his major championship, his second U.S. Open at Pebble, where he collapsed in 2010. You've got Jordan Spieth returning to form. You've got Brooks Koepka. You've got so many great – Rory McIlroy winning this past weekend by a massive amount of shots, finally rounding into form. You've got so many great storylines. I really hope we get one of them, and it's not like Andrew Putnam wins by three. Like, I really hope it's not another situation kind of like, no disrespect to Graham McDowell, because Graham McDowell is as good of a person as there is in the game of golf, and I'm happy he has a major. But we don't need another Graham McDowell winning this U.S. Open.
More like a Ben Curtis.
We don't need Ben Curtis. We don't need Sean McKeel showing up. With all due respect to Patrick Cantley, who just destroyed the field, just won a Memorial. He's got great odds going in, great sleeper pick. We want something exciting. We want someone to root for down the back nine. And I think that Tiger, I think that Phil, I think that Rory, I think that Justin Thomas finally getting healthy again. I think that Jordan Spieth rounding back into form at a course that he absolutely dominates. I think there are so many great storylines. I just want one of them.
Now, we just got done with a tournament at Bethpage where it was tough as heck. I mean, you weren't going to shoot well, and even though you had Brooks Koepka dominate, he still finally had a round where he shot over par and still won just because of the way that he played. But at Pebble Beach, even though Tiger Woods' score always comes out as the one we think of when he won by 13, 14 shots, he just dominated the competition.
15 strokes.
Yeah,
15 strokes, 12 under par. The next closest person was Ernie Els and Jimenez at +3. He shot 12 under with a triple bogey on the card. It is people who have not seen that round 19 years ago, it's just hard to even fathom how well he played that week.
But at the same time, when they play at the Pebble Beach Pro-Am, and I know it's different because of the tees and the way that they go out the course, but and the wind machines, right, from the side. But when it comes down to Pebble Beach, it's usually a course, if the wind's not crazy and it's not raining, isn't it? They're going to be able to shoot okay, correct?
This is going to be the first U.S. Open in a long, long time under 7,100 yards. And, it's not the length of this course, and this is why in this day and age where you see 7,800-yard courses and people hitting driver wedge into 500-plus yard holes, Pebble Beach does not get you with its length. It is just a great setup. When it's set up for a U.S. Open, a premium is put on accuracy. You have to hit the fairway. There is a lot of holes in this golf course where if you just miss it even a foot into the rough, you are not getting it on this green because these greens are incredibly small. I've never played Pebble Beach, but I've walked all 18 holes numerous times during tournament week and not during tournament week. The way that it is set up during a U.S. Open is vastly different than the way it is set up for the AT&T Pebble Beach Pro-Am.
Yes, Pebble Beach is one of those kind of courses. If you miss the hole by just a few inches, it's not a good time. Looking at some of the other things going on right here, when you look at what was happening with some of the big names, including Bubba Watson, that's one that we, here in Pensacola, we obviously always keep an eye on. There are certain courses that set up for his game. The Masters is one of them at Augusta. But Bubba, I see him around. He's got a bunch of new places down here. He's been with Sandy Sansing and building some dealerships. He's co-owner of the Blue Wahoos. His kids go to the same school Leighton does, and just a great guy. He wants to be part of the community, which is something we embrace because there's a lot of athletes, maybe all-time leading running backs, from this city that don't always come back and do everything. But it comes to a point where is he focusing enough that he is ready to win a major? And I'm not saying this as he's capable because of how talented he is, but you're around the game. We pay attention to golf, but you see these guys live and breathe it. Has he been putting enough emphasis, VJ singing, which nobody does on a driving range, but is he ready to compete at the major level?
One thing I don't like to do, as an analyst is try to get inside the mind or talk about things that I'm not really sure about. Let's be honest. I don't know the type of work. I doing for Pensacola. We all do. But guess what? I don't see what he's doing behind the scenes. I'm not there at 6 a.m. when he's hitting the range. I don't know how much work he's putting in, and I don't know the mental state of Bubba Watson, so I can't really speak to that. All I know is that he is uber talented. Yes, the U.S. Open is not a setup that generally favors Bubba Watson. However, if there was going to be a place that hosts the U.S. Open that he can win at, I would say that Pebble Beach is the place, because he does not need to hit driver off the tee. He only needs to hit driver maybe 2-3 times the entire course. All he needs to do is put his hybrids, put his irons into play down the middle of the fairway, and he's still going to be having mid to short irons into these greens because it's not that long of a golf course. And we all know that hitting greens is one of his strengths. What Bubba needs to do is chip and putt. And Poana kind of levels out the playing field. When you're playing on those smooth, countertop U.S. Open greens like you see in Oakmont and Wingfoot, not a great advantage. But guess what? It's tough for every single player in the field to putt on those Pebble Beach Poana greens. So that kind of levels the playing field for him a bit. I definitely see Bubba Watson being in contention this week.
So if you go to the bar and you ask for a vodka and orange juice and say, make me a screwdriver, and the guy said, I'm sorry, what was that? And said, vodka orange juice, screwdriver, and the guy came back and said, I'm sorry, we call that a stabber. Would you be offended by that?
Well, I genuinely have no idea where you were going with this right now.
Well, I mean, if you ask for vodka and OJ, and we call that a stabber instead of a screwdriver, would you be offended by that?
I personally wouldn't. I get my vodka mixed with Arnold Palmer, and we call it John Daly.
And then you would say the juice is loose. There you go. Well, hey, Brett, we always appreciate the time. We always leave you on an uncomfortable note, knowing that you have a job with security and stuff.
Yes.
Yeah, that's how we roll. The Waffle House hero, by the way. Did you see that? He got to fly with the Blue Angels. That was pretty cool.
That is pretty freaking awesome, Chad.
Okay, the guy saved a bunch of lives. This is a good story. We transition from OJ here. Who said life is good, and I don't care what his life is, you're a murderer. But looking right now at this, a 29-year-old man was credited with he saved he saved a ton of lives Sunday morning after he disarmed a man who opened fire at a Tennessee Waffle House. So there you go. Rocky Top, Tennessee.
Good way to end it, man. Right
there you go.
Positive
no
note.
Tony Joyner conversation here, okay?
That's it, man. You look at the list of athletes and crazy personalities that were on University of Florida campus at the same time in 2007. It's almost hard to believe.
Nadal winning 12 Frenches. Should he go down in that class of the argument of best tennis player of all time?
No, he goes down in the class as greatest tennis player at a specific venue. Sam Snead won 8 Greensboro championships, but he doesn't make him the greatest golfer of all time. It means he was really, really good at that one really, really specific course. I don't think anybody will ever be as dominant in anything in sports as Nadal is playing on clay, but he's not the greatest of all time.
That's like Hugh Hefner. He's not the biggest pimp of all time, but at one establishment. Okay, let's move on. Hey, Brett, we appreciate your time as always, and thank you for joining us here on the Sports Drive.
Thank you very much. I thought we were going to talk a little Mike Martin, too. But
no. We don't want to jinx it. Shh. Just keep them go. Look, we're riding the flow.
I'm a Gator fan. We do want to jinx it.
Nah, come on now. Don't ruin that. 30 seconds here. Raptors, do they win tonight, even with KD returning?
I think Golden State wins this game. I think Golden State extends it. I think that KD gives them a spark, even if he doesn't play a whole lot of minutes. I think that the Golden State Warriors extend the series, but I think that Toronto wins in the end.
Anything wrong with Bumgarner and the Muncy situation? Who do you side with?
No.
Oh, geez.
No. Screw your unwritten rules. Bumgarner, take it like a man. How about this? If you don't want balls in the ocean, throw better pitches.
Don't ever say Bumgarner, take it like a man on the show again. Please?
No. But beaming at Acuna because of jewelry, yelling at a guy who, takes a little bit too long to run. No. These unwritten rules of baseball need to stop. These rules that were written before television sets existed. No, we have TVs now. We can see what's happening. Just get rid of them.
5 seconds. Wahoos versus Shuckers tonight.
Wahoos, of course.
There you go, Brett. All right, congratulations. I'll buy you the grits of Yaya next time you're in town.
All right, talk to you later.
All right, see you, bud. He's like, I got to get out of this conversation right now. Thanks again, Brett Brillante, joining us. I always love to put him on the edge there. Yeah, look, he works for the Golf Channel. Different things you can say on NBC. Heck, actually, I probably can't be saying this, but I'll talk to HR tomorrow. We're coming back for more right here on the Sports Drive.
There's a lot going on right now, and broadcasters are on the ground covering all of it, bringing you the weather, the traffic, and breaking news, all while entertaining you 24 hours a day. Someone needs to tell you what's going on around the world and in our hometowns, and that someone is us. We are free radio. We are always there.
We are broadcasters, your home for Pensacola sports, ESPN Pensacola 94.5.
O'Reilly. If your vehicle AC isn't working well, it might just be low on refrigerant. For an easy recharge, pick up a 20-ounce can of AC Pro R134A refrigerant with a gauge and hose on sale now at O'Reilly Auto Parts. Revive your AC today. O'Reilly Auto Parts. Better parts, better prices every day. Limit supply. See store for details.
O'Reilly Auto Parts.
ESPN Pensacola has you covered from the national and local levels. From Golic and Wingo to the Sports Drive, the Paul Feinbaum Show to Talk Football with Coach K, we have it all. It's the latest and best in sports talk radio, making us Pensacola's hometown sports network. ESPN Pensacola 94.5, also on HD Radio at HD2 98.7 WYCT, and streaming online at our website at ESPNpensacola.com.
Paul Feinbaum here for the Southeast leader for cranes and equipment rental, Craneworks. The Craneworks team in Nashville, Birmingham, and Mobile is ready to make your next construction or maintenance project a big success. Give Craneworks a call for your next lift, machinery moving, or rigging project. And don't forget, RentalWorks has a full line of rental equipment for jobs both big and small, and now offering qualified operators for all equipment, including aerial and earth-moving equipment. Call Craneworks at 877-282-LIFT or visit them on the web at craneworks.com.
He was a star quarterback at Pensacola High, played alongside Gator great Steve Spurrier, and rose up the ranks to become head coach of the Buffalo Bills. Now, he's talking football on ESPN Pensacola 94.5. Coach K brings football to life year-round. The teams, the players, and the front office. Talk football with Coach K every day at noon on your radio. And Coach K live on Facebook and YouTube at ESPN Pensacola 94.5.
Total attempts done per trade in this commercial.
We're outside the space station orbiting 250 miles above the Earth. One astronaut's tether line is being held by JB Weld epoxy adhesive, the other by ordinary glue. The JB Weld tether is holding strong, but the household glue tether has come apart and the astronaut is headed into deep space.
I should have used JB Weld!
Oh good, he grabbed a solar panel just in time. When strength really matters, don't glue it, JB Weld it. For metal, wood, plastic, and more. JB Weld, world's strongest bond. Available at Home Depot, Lowe's, Walmart, AutoZone, Advanced Auto Parts, and more.
And welcome back. Sports Drive with you right here on ESPN Pensacola 94.5 and on Blab TV. Chad Brilliante with you, Jordan Glass, Jackson with you. Having some fun as always. And now time to talk a little college football, college baseball, and more from 1010 XL Radio in Jacksonville, the Florida Gator podcast show. First Coast News in Jacksonville. You can catch him on TV as well right there with Gator Bait Magazine and College Sports Notebook. Brent Baird. You can follow him at Brent Baird, BEAIRD on Twitter. Brent, we appreciate your time as always.
Yeah, good to be with you as always too. We're on May 10th, or June 10th. It's amazing, boy. Big to do for the SEC in the World Series now. In it, Chad. I mean, it's just unbelievable. Now Arkansas is mauling Ole Miss right now, 14-1. So they will likely go in, barring a miracle of sorts. And then Auburn won 14-7. Listen, I don't. And I mean, we know what they do in football. We know what they do in basketball. But the league will now have 4 teams, half the field in the College World Series. Chad, that's just absolutely unbelievable when you think about that.
It is. Half of them will be there right there for the 8 teams. LSU will not be one of them because Mike Martin, 42 seasons with 40 wins. Incredible what he's been able to accomplish. But talk about this year. Sometimes things are just set up, but then great teams come along. And what I mean by that is the St. Louis Blues, it just felt like last night they were going to close it out, win their first Stanley Cup. It was all in the air, and they didn't get to celebrate. They got beat 5-1 at home. Florida State, everybody wants to feel the flow, and I think we're all hoping that Mike Martin can get it done if you're not one of the fans of the other 7 teams. But they're not the best team going to Rosenblatt.
No, they're not, but they are one of the hottest teams, and that momentum makes a lot of sense now, and it makes a lot of difference. Now, will they come back down to earth, Chad, when they get out there against some of these other teams? But the beating Georgia and LSU makes FSU the first team in 21 years of baseball super regionals to beat 2 SEC teams on the road in 2 different regionals. So that's incredible when you think about that. Also, and the other thing is, Chad, you remember? I mean, FSU was one of the last 4 in the field. So I mean, what they have done. Look, timing is everything in life, and boy, that has certainly showed up there, hasn't it?
It has. Looking at Clemson and Alabama, we have 75 days left until that Florida and Miami game that I hope to see you down in Orlando. Brent, you're going to that game, correct?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Well, hopefully. Now, if Brittany, if you're watching, I have to explain to the wife. I plan on going as well. But surprise, no. But when it comes, we'll talk later. But when it comes down to 5 things that a lot of people have forgotten already, 2 of them have been Clemson's Amari Rodgers is out probably for the season with the torn ACL, and that defensive line lost 4 guys in the first round of the NFL draft. I know Trevor Lawrence Sunshine is incredible, and I know Clemson can win every game with the combination with him and Justin Ross and ATN and what they do. However, do you feel those losses are something that people are sort of just passing because of how good this team is, or do you think they're that good that they still should be ranked number 1?
I don't have any problem with them, frankly, in being ranked number 1 because they still have the roster in order to do that. But to your point, and it's a good one, is losing Rodgers is one thing. Chad, I think their big problem is the second thing you said, is losing the defensive line. That's the real issue for them. Is they were, look, when you're dominant on the defensive line, you control games, and they did that. The question's going to be for them, are they going to be able to do something similar this year? Now, I still think Alabama and Clemson will play for the national title at the end of the season, but that sometimes you can't ignore the losses because of where they are, and for Clemson, the D-line is where they are.
And I saw a fascinating stat when they play right there on September 7th against Texas A&M. Dabo Swinney and Jimbo Fisher's average salary per day in a 365-day year, which is normal calendar. But those guys make the same amount as an annual household in South Carolina when they play that game.
Yeah.
$47,000 is what they make per day. That's the annual household in South Carolina. So, yeah, they're doing okay for themselves out there. 10-year, $93 million for Dabo, and 10-year, $75 million for Jimbo Fisher. Speaking of Jimbo Fisher, there's a lot of pressure. I think he did a great job. That 7-overtime win was a phenomenal victory to sort of end it, and, they continue to dominate. And really, their losses. That's the thing is, it's not only how you win and lose, it is. That's what I meant to say. It is how you win and lose sometimes, not just the wins and losses in your record. And Texas A&M, even in defeat, played well against Clemson and looked good in their games. What do you think about their team? Can they be the team to compete this year to be the next in line? Because I think the big question about the SEC West between Auburn and A&M and LSU and Mississippi State and all the teams throughout the years has been, even Ole Miss, who is number 2? And who do you feel, can Texas A&M be the second best team in the SEC West?
I don't know if they can because their schedule's so brutal. I still think they're a year away from where they want to be, but they have both Alabama and Auburn at home. Now, they've got, obviously, the Clemson game, and they don't need to leave that game being beat up and lose guys. So Kellen Mond's really good. Travion Williams is a loss. They've got receivers. You know they're going to have that. I think Mike Elko at D coordinator, him getting the $2 million salary is going to make a big difference. So, look, I have said repeatedly, Chad, over the last few months that they will probably be the next big contender to Alabama. Now, you might argue that LSU would be this year if Brady coming in, helping that offense makes a difference, as we think it could, and they think it will. But for right now, I still think, as good as A&M is and will be, that they're still a year away.
Speaking with Brent Barrett of College Sports Notebook. Brent, final question here. As somebody that's covered Florida Gator football, you know, the 2007 team was one of the best we've seen in college football with Tim Tebow, Urban Meyer at head coach. But Aaron Hernandez obviously took a path that a lot of us will never forget and took his own life. And then today, or yesterday, the news with Tony Joyner murdering his wife. It just, it could just be complete coincidence, but, you know, just talk about, because you covered them and you probably remember Tony.
Look, Dan, those classes that he came from, and we can't blame this on Urban Meyer totally, but that was a rough group, and I think Tebow kept them in line to a degree, and I know, and it was they were incredible athletes. They struggled in a lot of areas, particularly in character. That was just awful to see that, and it's just beyond belief. To think about that, but no, there's blame all the way around. Urban will get some. George obviously will get some too. But that is Chad, as good a group that was on the field, off the field, they have been a mess, haven't they?
They have, and regardless of, you know, at this point, you know, I just feel bad for the family of you know, the poor woman and everything that happened in the situation. So, you know, when it comes down to that, you know, we live in a society of people that, you know, once somebody dies, we immediately go to autopsy or what they did. And, you know, we talk about it in the media. We have to cover the story sometimes when we don't want to. But what should not be forgotten is, you know, if you're at church this week or around, just say a prayer because somebody lost their lives. And it was, you know, it was pretty sad. Brent, as always, we appreciate the time. We're looking forward to it. We're right around the corner now from gearing up to really get into the nitty gritty. I bought myself one of the Lindy magazines, and I got it right here in studio. And excited. It's been a fun week.
Well, listen, we are basically 1 month and 5 days away from being in Hoover for the SEC Media Days. That's our next benchmark that we're looking at. Glad you've got the magazines, and we'll have Phil Steele coming up in the next few weeks. But you're right; it is pretty much this season has begun for the players, Chad, because they've all reported for Summer A or whatever you call it right now. They're working out together and so forth. So, that group's together at this point, yes.
Yeah, the sad part is I'm showing it to everybody here on TV, too. I'm holding it up, the cover of Lindy's. There is a typo right on the front page when they put out. I'm looking at the Lindy's Top 10, and there's no U, C, or F on there. On the front page, I don't even see it. No, I'm just – without Mackenzie Milton, that's something that will be short-lived. Yeah, so it is what it is. Hey, look, we got our fake parade down there. I'm happy. I'm happy. We're okay. Hey, Brent, we appreciate it as always. You have a blessed week and look forward to it. I know we're not going to talk to you till next week, so you have a happy Father's Day. Always love to see the pictures with you and your daughter and everybody out there just enjoying life. And as a dad of an amazing girl, it's going to be a special week coming up here.
Well, it will be. I know it will be for you, and especially for relatively new fathers. It's special, and even for the old hands like me who have 220-somethings, it's still special too. Absolutely.
That's right. Hey, Brent, we appreciate it as always.
Take care, okay?
That's right. As it's going to be a fun week. Looking forward to Father's Day. I actually saw a guy the other day. I walked up to him. I said, Happy Father's Day. He had a shirt that said, "Who's your daddy?" And he just gave me a stare down. Just gave me this annoying look on the side. And then I put a couple quarters in his bucket. We're coming back for more right here in the Sports Drive.
Welcome to Mo! Okay, hi, what are we doing today?
I need something that screams something fun. Nothing too on the face, nothing too off the face, but also totally hot.
So I have the perfect thing. It's the most food mullet. You're totally business in the front, but tailgate in the back. It's a fat party. People are having fun. Snap. All your friends are going to be like, whoa, awesome setup. Everyone else is going to be all jelly, okay?
Just like a killer mullet, Moe's Catering will turn the back of your ride into a tailgate party that's sure to turn some heads. Just order ahead and pick it up on your way.
Moe's Southwest Grill, now open in Pace on Highway 90 next to Publix grocery store.
No matter what team or sport you love, connect with it all on SiriusXM. Hear ESPNU and more in your car, on your phone, and at home when you subscribe now with packages starting at $5 per month plus fees. Get closer to every major league with play-by-play, expert analysis, and even fantasy sports coverage. Plus, ad-free music, comedy, entertainment, news, and more. Connect with what matters on SiriusXM. Visit SiriusXM.com/listenESPN to learn more and subscribe. Channel lineup varies by package.
Hey, this is Cole from Commander Air, and we're your local Daikin Comfort pros. Trust is hard to come by these days. At Commander Air, we have over 54 years of building and earning your trust. From each trained, certified technician to the state-of-the-art Daikin units we install, Daikin systems come with a trustworthy 12-year parts warranty. Commander Air has 3 generations of trust built on dependability, knowledge, and outstanding service. Come check out our new AC showroom at the intersection of Highway 29 and 9 Mile Road. Commander Air, your hometown heating and cooling specialist for 3 generations.
Experienced truck drivers. Are you searching for a company that will let you pick the kind of driving job you want? At Schneider, professionals personalize their careers by choosing from 38 different types of driving positions. That means a better career to fit your lifestyle. If you want even more choice, Schneider drivers can also choose from over 50 unique dedicated accounts. Enjoy experienced driver pay, the respect you deserve, and choices that only Schneider can offer. Find out for yourself at SchneiderJobs.com. That's SchneiderJobs.com.
Attention all crab cake lovers, restaurants, organizations, and chefs. It's time to prove that you can make the best crab cakes once and for all. Register your team for the annual Crab Cake Cook-Off, sponsored by the kids' dentist, Dr. Stu Bonin, at Seville Quarter on Wednesday, July 31st from 6 to 8 p.m. Be among 18 teams competing for the best crab cake bragging rights while supporting the Arc Gateway. For tickets and to become a sponsor, call Brittany at 434-2638 or visit arc-gateway.org.
Pros do it right by relying on trusted brands to get the job done. Lowe's is here to help with more of those brands in stock like DeWalt and Little Giant. We stock the largest in-store selection of DeWalt power tools and accessories of any national retailer. Now save $60 on a 2-pack of DeWalt 20-volt max batteries, now just $99. Plus, we now offer the Little Giant King Combo ladder, the world's first step, extension, and leaning ladder, giving you the flexibility to do just about any job for only $159. Do it right for less. Start with Lowe's. Offer valid through 6/16, U.S. only.
And welcome back. Sports Drive with you right here on ESPN Pensacola 94.5 and on Blab TV. Thanks again to Brent Baird for joining us here. And Jordan Glass, after drinking out of a water tower of Florida Gator juice right here. Gator juice right there, right? Is that what we call it?
Go Gator juice.
Some swamp creatures going on in there. Welcome to the swamp right there. Got some good stuff, right? All right, let's get on track. Looking at the Gators, the Tony Joyner situation, obviously tough. Now, this is when things like this happen, I want to put it real clear. These are rogue situations with individuals. They should not be led back. This should not be reflected as something the Gators did. This is an individual 11, 12 years later that committed a murder. So, it's not like they broke out of the huddle and he went out there and jumped in row 6 and jabbed a guy with a knife. That would actually probably be on the team. This one right here is a situation where the guy made a horrible choice, and very sad to hear about it.
Yeah, it's very sad and very tough to hear about this, but I think the thing with this, and a conversation that is probably going to be had by this, or maybe should be had by this, and I'm not trying to give an excuse as to why he did that, because really there's no excuses as to why he did what he did, but CTE, you've got to look at this being a reason that maybe this is actually something that could happen, because we've seen it time and time again where part of CTE is, yes, it causes depression and it's caused other players to take their life. You look at a guy like Junior Seau, he had suffered from CTE, and that medical experts say that caused his depression that ultimately led to him taking his life. Same thing for Aaron Hernandez. They found traces of CTE after he had committed suicide as well. Another thing that this also does is it creates a lot of aggression. So this is something that very possibly could be what we're looking at here. And this is another thing that ties it back to football, and finding a way to make the game safer without taking anything away from the game, I think, is something where football needs to kind of wake up and realize that. But at the same time, this is just a sad story.
Well, and two things here. There is a correlation, and not everybody. To control things is tough. Look, when you play defense, there's a correlation between defensive players in football and domestic abuse, and at a very small level, but aggression to murder, which could be CT. But you're seeing guys, think about your job. I mean, think about what you get paid for every single day. Yeah. You show up to work, you work out, you do pad drills where the more tenacious you are, the more you get paid. The quicker you are, the more you get paid. The more, and your job, some of these guys that make hundreds of millions of dollars, contracts like Aaron Donald, who seems to be one of the good guys. His parents actually worked for, I think it was over 40 years as a bus driver and as a guy that used a used tire shop in Pittsburgh, and he had a chance to give his parents a lot of money for the rest. 40 years they lived that life. But there's a lot of guys that they can't turn that switch off, and it's hard. And with CT and the aggression of your job is to crush the quarterback. You get paid to smash somebody, a human being. To turn that off is not easy. And for defensive players, it's sad that you read these stories, but it happens a lot. That's all the time we have for the first hour. Thank you for joining us here in the Sports Drive.
Pensacola's hometown all-sports station and home of the Blue Wahoos, ESPN Pensacola 94.5. Catch all the Wahoos games home and away all season, plus all the latest Wahoos news from Chad Brilliante on the Sports Drive, 5 till game time weeknights. And hey, if your business would like to partner with us as an advertiser or with a local sports promotion, then give us a call at 850-262-6000 or shoot us an email from the advertise page on ESPNpensacola.com.
ESPN Pensacola 94.5. I'm Jordan Glass with your Pensacola Sports Update. For UWF Argos Baseball, we'll be hosting William Carey later on.
Run! Go! Get to the chopper!
Dropping Gannon, looking Gannon, throws up the middle. At the 40, Derek Brooks 30, Brooks to the 29, 20, Derek Brooks all the way, touchdown Tampa Bay, Derek Brooks, the dagger's in, we're going to win the Super Bowl.
Bubba Watson is wearing a green jacket, and this time his name is Bubba.
Pitch on the way. Russell drives one in the air. Deep left center. That's back near the wall. It's got a chance. Grand slam. Grand slam, Addison Russell.
The new WBA heavyweight champion of the world, Roy Jones Jr.
And Richardson breaks free on the sideline. End zone. How about that? Bama scores on a 34-yard touchdown run by the Doak Walker Award winner, Trent Richardson, who broke a lot of Emmett Smith's records back in Pensacola, Florida.
And these them Louisiana, Pensacola guys, they looking crazy and all that.
Morris, blocked by the tight end call. That opens up the door. Breaking the Cambridge tackle. To the pylon. Touchdown.
Really nice effort there by Alfred Morris, extending that ball over the goal line.
Near side ball is that big game. Doug Baldwin's got a first down. Doug Baldwin, 93 yards, now has back-to-back 1,000-yard seasons. Reggie Evans, and he's going to get an ovation. Guy from Pensacola, Florida.
And welcome back. Sports Drive with you right here. ESPN Pensacola 94.5 and on Blab TV. I am Chad Berliante alongside Jordan Glass, co-host in crime, as well as Jackson, our good friend who is just deciding to represent NASA today. Something important to our space endeavors and not one of his fish taco shirts. So I'm a little disappointed. It was shark tacos, but it's all right. He doesn't have his mic ready, so we'll give him a
Jim
chance to
McElwain stole the shirt.
That's right. That's right. Dun-dun. I'm coming. Jackson, would you like to rebuttal on this one right now?
Oh, no. I've just been cleaning out the warehouse all day.
Okay.
Station,
all right.
Cat Country.
Oh, so you're going to disrespect NASA by getting it all sweaty? I'm just playing with you, man.
No,
how's your life going, by the way? Yeah,
it's good. I just graduated high school. So
congratulations.
Working my way in.
That's right. Jackson is 27. No, I'm just playing with you. Yeah. How's everything? Milton High School, correct?
Yeah.
Awesome. Go Panthers. Go Panthers.
I mean, it's good. I'm just getting used to adult.
Don't worry. That's never. Look, I'm 34 and that doesn't exist.
Yeah.
That's you never get used to that. By the way.
Yeah.
We all want to be the guy that walks outside and wakes up in the morning thinking you're going to work just to like throw a ball that knocks a clown into a dunking booth. That would be fun, but that's not how life is.
It would be. Yeah.
Denver Broncos did that. They put John Elway in there.
That's right. Yeah. Miami Dolphins been doing that at quarterback for the last 30 years.
They have.
Throwing a dunking booth out there.
And
a clown.
Coaching, yeah.
I mean, I still get to sleep in a little bit, so it works out.
Enjoy that for now.
Yeah.
Enjoy that for now.
Jordan Glass joining us as well. He's got about a 100-ounce big gulp here with the Florida Gators and a deflated football. That is all we do in studio, by the way, if you're watching with our deflated footballs here. That's just so happens to have a Patriot logo on it. That's coincidence.
I'm staying away
right
from
there.
that side. Notice I'm blocking that side from the camera so nobody sees it.
No, nobody cares. We don't care what you think of it either. Let the refs. It's like, you know what? Honestly, to tell you the truth, the media perception is huge, but that's one of those, like with Barry Bonds, I know everybody was like, well, I don't know. He's still in the Hall of Fame, but it's got to irk. It's got to shuck his oysters a little, like I hope the Wahoos do to Biloxi tonight. But I want... He actually, nobody really represents him in a lot of people's minds as the home run champion. You know what I'm saying? Like even Giancarlo Stanton, a young guy that is coming up, he wasn't older. Usually the older generation's like Hank Aaron and Roger Maris and screw you, Barry Bonds, you stupid cheat. Like you hear that all the time. Braves fans more than ever with hammering Hank. But when it comes down to some of the younger generation, a lot of them, they just look at the numbers. They didn't live during when they would interrupt. They're like, all right, going to bowl a 300. We're interrupting PBA bowling to show you smash attack. Crush it, Mark McGwire. Sammy Sosa. And all of a sudden he crushes one 500 feet. Sammy Sosa hits an opposite fielder over the ivy in Wrigley Field. And they were just bombing him. Barry Bonds was part of that generation as well. But when Barry Bonds did it and hit 73, what a lot of people did was they just decided to, look at the numbers now. However, it's still got to hurt his feelings that he is in Cooperstown, he is in the Hall of Fame, but a lot of people don't look at him as the home run champion. With a guy, when it comes to deflating footballs and Tom Brady and all these tapes that went missing, that's just for everybody else to get mad at. But we, as Patriot fans, I could give two blanks, what the guy Arlen Specter's doing with his time right now in Philadelphia, trying to, the Eagles, we want proof. Been saying that for 20 years. Those tapes are burned, by the way. Goodell has moved on. This is one of these kind of things where you can say whatever you want to say, but as time goes by, those championships are just adding to more fingers for Tom Brady. That's it. You know what I'm saying? Jordan, as a fan of the Dolphins, who clearly are not beloved over the Patriots or what their owner did down in your neck of the woods, by the way. Shouldn't be using neck of the woods, both those words. But when it comes down to overall, Jordan, I got to say, I think that more people are just angry about the situation of who the Patriots are, but they're not really saying because of PSI in a football that they didn't deserve it. If you have anything to do with football and you think 0.5 on a cold winter day had anything to do with them crushing an Indianapolis Colts team when they flipped the footballs out, beat the team by 21 points, then they're out of their boots.
I go back to that scene in Major League where Wild Thing asks one of the other pitchers, he goes, "What's that stuff on your shoulder?" And he rubs it, does a little bit of like this, and he goes, "Oh, it's Vagisil." He goes, "You put Vagisil?" He goes, "Yeah, I don't get the drop on the curveball like you do anymore, so I've got to use anything I can." He goes, "On a day when nobody's looking, I'll rub a little jalapeno on the inside of my nose, and when it gets to running, use that on the ball." And, when you get to a certain level, you use any kind of things that you can to kind of, help yourself in the game. And if he did deflate the football, that's all he was doing. I don't have any problem with it.
Wild Things, Denise Richards. Oh, different movie. All right, let's go to let's go to the phone lines here. 850-972-1945. And Jeff is on the line. Jeff, good evening.
Nice win yesterday. I know your wife was pretty mad and stuff, and I just want to say thank you to the LSU baseball coach for letting the one guy hit that probably should have walked him to first base and stuff. And, really okay outing by T.J. Bandai. Probably going to be a top #1 overall draft pick next year, really good and stuff. And you know what I'm going to say? I think they're going to win it all. I don't care what Vegas says, because this is, I think this is the year. I think it's just, like the 1 year the Gators won, didn't have the best roster, but it's not always about the best roster and stuff. And just want to say I'm enjoying the race. I know, Chad, it's not going well for the Red Sox. I know they're happy about the Bruins, even though I'm not, and stuff. And looking forward to watching them all tonight. Probably one of the few people that has watched literally every single game and stuff. And just want to say appreciate y'all, what y'all doing. Want to say, Chad, that's not a fake national title, because by NCAA rules, it's considered one, because that championship they play, it's not an official NCAA. So when Alabama wins, it's part of the college football playoff. Thank you, guys. Have a good night.
God bless you, Jeff. I appreciate that last comment there. Jeff, a great caller, gets to a lot of topics. He's a big Florida fan. Panthers, doesn't matter who it is, Jaguars. He roots for Florida. I do want to put one point. Now, Jeff is a loyal listener, and but when you say, I know your wife was angry last night, she is an LSU alumni. That needs to be clarified for just somebody on I-10 right now just tuned into the car and just be like, oh, well, okay, being married to me, I'm sure there's many angry moments, as you can tell, with the stupid things I say. However, she is an LSU wife.
And snapper and just, that would ruin the whole night.
Well, Jeff calls in, I know your wife was angry last night. Let's get to some sport. And I'm like, whoa. She's an LSU fan. I just want to make sure to clarify that to everybody in the world. And we had an awesome weekend, actually, at the beach. We had a really good time. We got to get family time. It was supposed to rain, but as an LSU fan, chance of rain, never. There's never any rain. We got to do a pool day. Leighton started ballet camp today. That was pretty awesome. So, yeah, life's going awesome right now. But, yeah, I do want to clarify that for the people out there. She would be angry as an LSU fan.
That's okay. Exactly.
All right, moving on from that. Florida State, Michigan, Auburn punched their ticket. Go Tigers. Different Tigers. I shouldn't use that. Mississippi State, Texas Tech, Vanderbilt, and Arkansas. So Arkansas is just, we're assuming up 14-1 that this game is over by now. But Arkansas crushing Ole Miss. Don't change that sports drive from Black TV. I'm just kidding. Right. I don't. That's what I do, folks, in studio. I just sit here and watch myself. Look at that guy on TV right there with the sweatiest pits in the world right now. It's like 150 degrees in here, by the way.
It's warm, yeah. The thermostat says 84.
Start charging rates on saunas in here. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Little sweat. Get the toxins out.
Yeah.
You can convince anybody today, like one of those. Put a seaweed mask and get the toxins out and charge them $100. These companies.
Put a little tray of like cucumber sandwiches or something. Charge $50 a piece. Yeah.
I was at a health food store, and honestly, folks out there that eat healthy in places like Everman's, God bless you, because that truly is what you should be doing. When I eat a double cheeseburger with bacon and put extra mayo on it, I know what I'm doing. It just tastes good. You know what I'm saying? But at the same time, there was 4 different fridges of just waters. You know what I'm saying? Like, infused. I'm like, someone just threw a lemon in there and shook it up. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's funny how today, if you drink this many waters with this many toxins, it is what it is. So let's move on from that. Getting back to what he was talking about, Mike Martin. I do not believe Florida State's going to win it all. I think that eventually throughout the course of a college baseball World Series, the best team usually well, it's actually one sport where you can get hot. But I think right now, from what I've seen, to me, I'm leaning towards this year. And I said it at the beginning of Vanderbilt. I'm going to go. I think Vanderbilt wins it all this year.
Yeah, I like the way they rebound after getting blown out by Duke in the first game of that
When a pitcher pitches a no-hitter with 19 strikeouts, looking pretty good.
That team is too good. That pitching staff is too good. I think Vandy wins it all. Yeah.
Kumar Rocker.
Yeah,
that's just a name.
That's a pitcher name.
No affiliation with John Rocker.
Right,
He doesn't want to be affiliated with a name like Kumar Rocker, but at the same time, not too many. Kumar, are you affiliated to that racist that hates everybody? Did you just say Kumar? Are you? I don't think he's affiliated with anybody right there named John.
Just peeks around the corner.
Yeah.
No.
I don't know who that piece. It's like, all right, John, what would you pop out with you? Look, John had a bunch of great years for the Braves, and Braves fans always tomahawk chop to some of his great saves. But he was off his rocker with some of the comments he made about races that were clearly pretty bad. There was no beating around the bush in there, too. Like when New York Times came out with the article, Chink in the Armor, when Jeremy Lin had a bad basketball game, like, even though that guy got fired, at the same time, it was like, all right, get over it. Sounds like something you would hear on Conan. John Rocker just clearly threw out like he was at a KKK rally. I mean, he clearly went to town on people and probably should have kept his mouth shut. Looking at some of the things going on right now, in light of Mike Martin and some of the things that we talked about, best players never to win a title or coaches. Let's go over where do you feel that it comes to mind first? Ted Williams or Karl Malone? Which one to you go, ooh, man.
I'm going to go with the mailman on this one. I'm going to go Karl Malone. Yeah.
Okay. Because he also went to L.A. for pretty much the only reason to win a championship.
Yeah.
He joined Shaq. He joined Kobe. He didn't get involved on telling them how you know what taste. They just went out there and tried to play basketball. You saw Big Shot Bob, Derek Fisher. One of the most clutch guys of all time. Remember D. Fish? That guy. The moon shot. Him and Marbury, the way they shot way up in there. I love those shots. 15 minutes for it to come down. But D. Fish and those guys, and they couldn't win. Gary Payton, the glove, joined them. I mean, they tried everything. And Karl, 22 years, they couldn't win. And he probably has a dartboard at his house with Michael Jordan. And Michael didn't do anything to him or his family, but just think about it. If MJ wasn't around, Karl could have. If Hakeem Olajuwon, Tim Duncan, and Michael Jordan didn't exist, Karl Malone and John Stockton have 7 rings.
He's just like he's like the character in Billy Madison with the lipstick and just crossing names off the list.
Exactly. Yeah. It's like what Peyton Manning probably does to Tom Brady in his sleep. And let me explain. What I mean is, if Tom Brady didn't exist, Peyton Manning might have 5 or 6 or 7 rings. It just some people just stand in the way. Jack versus Arnie, Phil Mickelson to Tiger Woods. There's some guys where you can. That's how probably the U.S. Open feels right now about Brooks Koepka. Not too many people remember that a Jordan Spieth or Dustin Johnson, they keep finishing second or third right in these tournaments, but Brooks Koepka is just dominating the field. It's these guys would be making their mark on history if this guy didn't have ice water in his veins. Looking at some of the other ones, Charles Barkley, Sir Charles, 16 seasons versus Barry Sanders.
Ooh, this is a tough one. I'm gonna go with Charles Barkley because I think Barry Sanders.
He didn't play long enough.
Yeah. So I'm going to go with
Charles
Barkley.
And we knew Detroit stunk. Sir Charles played with Hakeem in Houston and Clyde. He played in Philly with some good teams with Moses Malone and some other guys. Phoenix had a couple good players. Remember Oliver Miller, by the way? The guy was 500 pounds, the center.
Yeah.
Gosh, just Google him if you don't know Oliver Miller. Just the guy, he would get called with defense of 3 seconds outside of the arc. Sir, I'm not out that half court. But your footing. Well, just part of your blubber is over there. No, that guy was huge, man. You want to talk about Jackson? You probably don't know who Oliver Miller is, do you? Google Oliver Miller. This is hilarious, by the way. If you don't, I just remember the name because he gives hope to everybody out there that didn't play basketball. And I don't know what he's up to these days. I'm Googling it just to see so I can laugh with this photo. But yeah, he was. I mean, this
Big
guy.
Fella.
They were probably showing you.
Ironically, he played for the Raptors. Yeah.
Let's look at this one right here. I mean, look at that. Look at this picture. This is an NBA star right here. We got to get a photo of this right here. If you can get that close to the right there if you can hold that up here to see if we can still get that on the camera here. I don't know how close we can get that here, but wow, that is That's not doing too much justice right there for that photo right there. Yeah, that's probably a horrible view. But this guy,
I'm watching this YouTube video, and he just brought down the whole goal.
This guy, I mean,
he just triggered that one to just collapse.
He got actually. There was one part where his career was going south, and what I mean is he ate too many cheesesteaks, and he went to play for the Brevard Blue Ducks, which was like a semi-pro basketball league where he was the show because he was an NBA.
He got up. It took him so long to get up off the court that they were already back in transition, so he just stood there and waited.
But he was, oh my God, that guy's head is literally smashed like a tire right there. But Oliver Miller was at the point of his career where he was worth the price of admission because it was almost like a spectacle how big he was. And in college, he was a regular-sized guy in college, but he was about 500 pounds by the end of his career. It was the biggest guy I'd ever seen on a basketball court.
6'9", 500 pounds.
Yeah, that's tractor trailer. There's some big guys, but he was, insanely big. He played for Arkansas, I believe, too, which he was a little hog in the middle. But when you talk about it, Charles, I'm going to go with Charles on that as well. This one's a tough one. This one is probably the toughest one of all time, and I put these two athletes together for this. Dan Marino, who's the first one that gets brought up, but versus Barry Bonds. Oh, for no title.
Dan Marino.
Well,
as a Dolphins fan, Dan Marino.
But Barry Bonds was, regardless of steroids, or allegedly, his head grown the size of a blimp. Okay. Barry Bonds is the best baseball player of all time. And I don't care what people, Willie Mays, all these people, you can sit here and know it. Don't look at how big of a jerk story he is. Don't go down these paths. I'm talking about the guy.
Pre-bobblehead years, yeah.
And if you're yelling, how dare him say that? If you just dealt with facts, and he was Robot A versus Robot B, and I presented, like those ladies like Vanna White on Wheel of Fortune or QVC, this just 15 payments of $39.99 and it's yours. Here's what I'm telling you, folks. Take all of the ways you feel about people out of it. If I told you the all-time second most MVPs in Major League Baseball in the history of a game where people actually didn't wear shoes, like Shoeless Joe Jackson, compared to today, 3 MVPs is second. And Robot B had 7 MVPs and batting titles and is the home run champion and an average where he got walked with the bases loaded in a game. All these things combined, and I said home run champion, individual home run champion, 500 stolen bases, 300 average for his career, did everything, gold gloves, and he has 7 MVPs and the other one has 3. And you didn't know who he was, and would you ever be like, that guy's a bum? Or would you say, man, that has to be the best player of all time?
No, if you did not know who he was, if you did not say it was Barry Bonds, there would be a lot of people that would guess a lot of names.
That's not even a competition. If I didn't say Barry Bonds, it's a fact that those stats are way better than anyone of all time.
Absolutely, yeah. And because of that, I'm still going to go with Dan Marino.
Okay. And you know why I'm saying Dan? Because Dan, as a quarterback, you control the path to get there for the most part. Not always, but Tom Brady, you take him off the pads, they don't have 6 rings. Barry Bonds, you have to have a team, and I bet he found the zoo that had that rally monkey and didn't just feed it crackers. I'm telling you what, that rally monkey, when he jumped around when he was out there that day, oh my gosh, I'll never forget Adam Kennedy's grand slam. If you guys don't know what the rally monkey is, Google that. I'm making people Google with Oliver Miller and these things, but I'm telling you what, the rally monkey would break out in the 7th inning, and the Giants were up 3-1 in the series. And 3 straight games, they had like 5 or 6 run leads. And then all of a sudden, the monkey would start jumping around in the 7th. And the LA Angels would just go on these like 5-0, just score 5 runs just like that and win these games every single time. And Bonds and all these people had to just sit there and watch. And it was insane. But the rally monkey, the story of the rally monkey, ridiculous. I mean, you're talking about, it'd be like 9 Chris Davises happening every single year in an Iron Bowl. That's what happened in the series. And it took Barry Bonds one chance at a ring. Him and Jeff Kent fought, and the rest is history. And guys went to jail, but he's got a nice account for their kids one day. When we come back, we're going to talk a little more about moments in sports, including one that Mike Martin will soon hopefully not forget. 42 years, 40-plus wins. Never has anybody ever done that. He is the all-time winningest coach in college baseball history. Can he get that first ring? He's headed to Omaha with 7 other people to try some really good steaks. We're coming back for more right here in the Sports Drive.
Pensacola Beach isn't just a sun-soaked white sand paradise. It's also the best dance floor in 50 states. Every Tuesday night, the stage near the beach ball comes alive with great music you know and love. Bands on the Beach are free shows every Tuesday through October, and they're brought to you by the Santa Rosa Island Authority. Tomorrow, it's Elvis Remembered. Shane Tucker puts on an amazing Elvis show worthy of the king himself. He brings the energy of the true king of rock and roll. Join us for live music every Tuesday night at 7 for Bands on the Beach.
Hello, sports fans. Miles Bentley here, General Manager at Hill Kelly Dodge Chrysler Jeep Ram in Pensacola. Growing up, I always loved sports. Nothing but net, out of the park, through the uprights. Sink the puck Bentley, that was me. But my love of the game couldn't beat my love for Pensacola and helping folks get on the road of dreams in a new Dodge Chrysler Jeep Ram. Sure, I never went to the big leagues in sport, but we're all pro here at Hill Kelly Dodge Chrysler Jeep Ram. Proud to be in Pensacola.
Do you put 100% into everything you do? Of course you do. Well, good news for you. So does the team at Harley-Davidson of Pensacola. And this summer, they're not only giving you 100%, they're giving you 118%. The team at Harley-Davidson's going to give you 118% Kelly Blue Book value on your trade towards a new Harley. Let the Harley-Davidson of Pensacola team go above and beyond for you. Bring your trade-in to the dealership today on Highway 29 in Pensacola. Harley-Davidson of Pensacola. Let's ride.
ESPN Pensacola has you covered from the national and local levels. From Golick and Wingo to the Sports Drive, the Paul Feinbaum Show to talk football with Coach K, we have it all. It's the latest and best in sports talk radio, making us Pensacola's hometown sports network. ESPN Pensacola 94.5, also on HD Radio at HD2 98.7 WYCT, and streaming online at our website at ESPNpensacola.com.
If you're hitting 200 at the plate for the Pensacola Blue Wahoos, life isn't that great. But if you're hitting up 200 before the Wahoos games, things can't get much better. 200 South is your Blue Wahoos pre-party destination. Grab an ice-cold draft with the best selection in town at World of Beer. Relax in the most hoppin' spot at Blend Lounge. Or grab a quick bite to eat at Graffiti Pizza or Taco Aguave before the game. 200 South Palafox in downtown Pensacola. Peanuts and Cracker Jacks are all right, but a slice and an ice-cold draft, now that's a home run.
It's almost time for Sertoma's 4th of July celebration in downtown Pensacola. Watch Old Seville Square come alive this 4th of July with free activities starting at 11 a.m., including a children's area with inflatables, rock climbing wall, pony rides, face painting, live entertainment, food, and much more. Don't forget the amazing fireworks over Pensacola Bay at 9 with a perfectly synchronized music broadcast on Cat Country 98.7. For more info, visit PensacolaFireworks.com.
And welcome back. Sports Drive with you right here on ESPN Pensacola 94.5 and on Blab TV. Jordan, don't tell him there's a raccoon right behind Jackson's head right there. Just don't touch it right there. Oh, crap. All right. I'm just waiting for the person driving around like, what kind of show is this? All right. You know what? We were looking at more Oliver Miller photos, and that doesn't sound right on air, but what it was there was a guy in the NBA, by the way, if you didn't enjoy basketball in the 90s, that was 6'9", about 500 pounds if he played. So just, check that out right there. And it's actually one of those things I'm asking you to Google that doesn't have any references, like when Ryan Anderson's nickname was the Silent Stroker. It's not going to get you in trouble or shut down at work or, violated on FCC law. So, it's okay. Just Google Oliver Miller and it'll be okay. Looking at some of the things, let's get to some more on Cash It or Smash It from the week. And as we break down the Sports Drives 5, number 4 on the list of Cash It moments goes to the Washington Nationals. Now, did anybody see this?
I didn't.
I was just waiting for you. What happened? What happened was, not that everybody was like, honey, what are we doing this week? Well, let's go watch the Nationals and Padres today in beautiful Pensacola, Florida on this day that give us sun. Back to back to back to back Jacks. How about that? That's when you call Craig Stammen, who was the pitcher on the mound that day, and as a prank even, just keep on annoying his house. You just keep on. What happens is just call him on a All-Star weekend and be like, do you mind being we've all entered the home run derby, and we'd like you to be the pitching coach. Just 4 straight home runs on 6 pitches the guy allowed. That's when you know it's not your day.
Yeah.
I remember in high school looking over at Coach. I was a pretty good pitcher, good enough to get chopped around at UCF for a little while. But I remember when I was out there pitching, and I actually had I think it was like a 27-inning scoreless streak going on. Lord knows how that was happening. But when I went out there and faced the team in Cocoa, they just had all these guys, and they didn't even. We were supposed to win the game too, or what we thought, but I couldn't get out of the first inning. And I remember I got the first guy out, and then the next 7 or 8 guys. And sometimes in baseball, it's not your day. I mean, it's when they throw the bat at a curveball and the ball pops over the first baseman's head. There was one that the guy swung at a chopper over the top. It was a routine double play, bobbled it. The next guy comes up, hits a 3-run home run. All these things were happening, and it just wasn't the day. And I remember looking at the coach like, please get me out. And as you could probably tell if you would listen to the show on a daily basis, my emotions were not wear your emotions on your sleeve type pitcher, the stoic kind of look in. Like if the umpire wasn't calling it down the middle, I was going to stare in a little while longer. Like my antics were probably out of the world. Now, not John Rocker antics, but the kind that were ridiculous that probably don't get you far in the majors. This was one of these moments, though, where 1 inning pitched, didn't even get out of the first inning, and allowed 9 runs. And it was just one of those, I kept looking over and just being like, can I get pulled? Please, get me off of this mound. Stammen, after the 3rd home run, probably was looking into the dugout like, guys, it's time to get me out of this game so I can get to the dugout. He calls himself. Yeah. He gives the nod, calls the bullpen. That would have been funny if he walked.
Just calls time, walks to the dugout, yeah.
Or if he walked over to the shortstop and handed him the ball and gave him the butt smack and then walked off the mound like, wait a second, what's happening? But, he definitely, when you allow 4 straight jacks, and it was a 1-1 game in the top of the 8th.
Yeah.
Some of those games when they put the third baseman in there to get completely crushed because your team is, you know what I'm saying? There's some games where they put the other guy because they've run out of relievers and it's 15-0. Like Arkansas just did, by the way. What was it? Arkansas just beat Ole Miss 14-1.
Yep.
In the deciding game. Rebels didn't come. No smiling black bear on that one.
No.
In that game right there, Arkansas, by the way, advancing. Arkansas, Auburn, Mississippi State, and Vanderbilt, 4 of the 8 teams out of the SEC. Florida State and what Coach Mike Martin has done, incredible. Michigan, first tournament in about 20. Actually, gosh, it's been a long time. They've over 40 years or something for Michigan as they beat UCLA, one of the baseball's finest right there. And also Texas Tech. Those are the teams that are advancing to the College World Series. But man, that's one of those kind of moments when you allow back-to-back-to-back-to-back home runs in a 1-1 game. Not your day. And at home on a weekend in front of a whole crowd.
Holy shit. They're like a step
Petco
up.
Park,
They're like a step up from the Trop at Petco. That's
By the way, the Waffle House hero honored, if you didn't know, he helped a gunman that came out, stopped a mass shooting at Waffle House right there, where many people, if you know Waffle House, were probably either hungover or tired from a long day and just wanted to get a couple of 2 eggs, some waffles,
smothered,
chunk smothered, covered, all that kind of stuff. And one of these days, usually when you're in a Waffle House, you're not in the perfect state of mind. You're probably tired or hungover or something like I just said. And you just look over at this guy, you're like, you've got to be kidding me today. Because it's not when it's a spur of the moment, oh, there's Waffle House.
Right.
So you're just like, dang it, why did I pick this day? And this guy saved your life. Saved your life and a bunch of other people's life, and he deserves to have the celebrations for what he accomplished as a 29-year-old hero in Tennessee at a Waffle House. He has been honored, though. James Shaw Jr., congratulations, flew with the Blue Angels this week. So
that's a
pretty
heck
awesome.
of a prize.
James,
yeah.
God bless you. So many horrific stories we have to hear. Good to see that you stopped the next one. And you will always be a hero to us. So,
yeah, and before we head out to the Wahoos, it's kind of nice because it ties it back in. This is the first time back in Smyrna for the Blue Angels since what happened a few years ago. So it's a kind of nice story to have a great story on their return to Smyrna to kind of, counteract what actually happened last time.
When I threw hot batter in the guy's eyes. No, that didn't happen. That would have been a good story. But, yeah, congratulations, James Shaw Jr. That is an awesome moment right there. Hey, for all of us here, for both of y'all, J&J, have a great rest of your day.
Sounds good.
All right, Jordan, Jackson, Guys, you better have your Shark Taco shirt, by the way, tomorrow. I'm just saying. All right.
I might put it in my car.
I'm not. I don't. He's like, I'm not on the clock. I don't have to be here. You know what, guys? Thank you for watching and tuning in here and listening in. ESPN Pensacola 94.5 and on Blab TV. We're going to send it out to Chris Garagiola and the Pensacola Blue Wahoos at Biloxi, trying to get back on track here. It's Blue Wahoos baseball on ESPN Pensacola. Thanks for tuning into the Sports Drive.
There's a